Red Edition, welcome, happy day. I want to share with you a letter written by a lady, and her name is Senator Payette, and she was first elected to the Canadian House of Commons in 1979, and Pierre Trudeau, who was Prime Minister at the time, appointed her in 1983 to the Canadian Cabinet as Minister of State, and then several years later, then Prime Minister Jean Chrétien appointed her to the Senate, and she's been there ever since. And she's had all kinds of controversial things going on during that time period. There's been seal hunts that people have inquired about from America, and she's responded with letters that didn't really address the issue, and she's called them names and all the rest of it, just typical liberal things. And she's done some bad things, and she's kind of all over the map. And out of all the things that she has done that may or may not have been bad, she's done a real zinger here lately, and I wanted to share it with you because it has a bit of an influence on how we think, and how we look at our politicians. And I think you will think, hopefully, that she should retire when all of this is over, because that's certainly what I think. Do you think? Here it comes. She wrote the letter to the Speaker of the House, Speaker of the Senate, and the letter was sent out to everybody in the Senate, and I now have a copy of it, and to me it's quite astounding. She goes on to say this: subject, security on Parliament Hill. I'm writing to you, and again she's addressing this letter to the Speaker of the House, to express my concern about the security measures implemented on the Hill in the wake of the events of October 22, 2014. Every time I enter the Senate chamber, I see two armed police officers at the door, one with a handgun and one with an automatic firearm. I must admit that this does not make me feel safe. On the contrary, I'm frightened by the thought that a police officer armed with an automatic weapon could shoot it on the Hill. And she goes on to say many innocent victims would pay with their lives for this so-called security measure. It is a serious mistake to arm police officers with these weapons. No matter what, the first victims of an attack will probably be police officers, because people who wish to do harm do not give advance notice. Duh. Anyway, security that relies on firepower has proven to be ineffective, and millions of Americans have paid the price for this false assumption with their lives. I remind you of the incident of October 22 when the intruder, not a terrorist, this is coming again from a senator in Canada, was shot by Sergeant-at-Arms in full view of the many RCMP officers stationed on the Hill. I ask that you stop endorsing violence by having heavily armed police officers on site at all times. And this is subsequent to that intruder attack. We all know that the firearms lobby, I guess that would include myself, has undue influence with the government. Undue, really. But going forward, I would like to see decisions affecting Hill security being made based on scientific proof and remaining within the limits of the powers granted to you. I would appreciate any explanations that you can give me about the security measures currently in place and about your commitment to review this policy shortly. Yours respectfully, the Honorable Céline Payette, PC, Senator. You know, there's no words. How do you even begin to talk about this? I mean, give me some stats. She says, I can give you a stat. I mean, a bad guy came into the house and he had a firearm and he started shooting, and he was hoping to kill good guys. And he did kill one. He killed a soldier that earlier on that day. And she's saying, I don't know what she's saying. I know what I'm saying. She should quit and go home and save us all some money. But the sad piece to all of this is she gets to get paid forever. I don't even think she can retire, but it doesn't have to unless she wants to. It's a sad day, but you know what? If you want to write a letter to somebody, go ahead and do that. Send an email to any minister of any party and say that this is just, well, it's beyond ridiculous. It ain't very nice. Y'all come back tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right, because that's our job. Politically, right is right and left is wrong, and our job is to share that with you. See ya.